Hello amigos, I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Thank you for coming to join me on today's video because effective today, I am entering chapter 52. I celebrated my birthday, it's June 6th, and had a nice fun day, did a little self-care, went and had a little facial with like a little mini massage. And then Hubs and I just went out and had dinner. So I wanted to share with you, just talk to you a little bit about that, as well as share a really fun gift, a very beautiful gift, sentimental gift. Back in December of 2024, we went on the Regal Princess cruise that left out of Galveston. So this item that he picked up for me is from that vacation trip, and this was held until today for my birthday. And we'll get into that story a little bit towards the end. But if you're new here and you happen to stop on by because of the title of the video, because of the piece of jewelry that I'm going to be mentioning, welcome. I love to do videos about luxury, jewelry, handbags, travel, and just some fun things of deals and steals. So if you like that type of content, please consider subscribing to the channel and being a part of the Camochica familia. So it was just a nice fun day. Went out, had my little massage, and then we went and had dinner. For those of you that are here within the area, or rather locally, we have an outdoor shopping mall that's called La Cantera, and we have Six Flags, which is known as Fiesta Texas. We have the Spurs facility, because we have this San Antonio Spurs, the basketball team, and so like they have an area as well. It's called the Rock. So all around there, we have a huge La Cantera resort, and attached to that resort is a restaurant called Signature. There's just a simple sign that says Signature, like if you're going towards the mall, it doesn't say restaurant. If you did not know anything about it, you wouldn't know. I passed that sign, a zillion times before I found out that there was a restaurant, and you can go and eat there. You don't have to be staying at the resort to eat at the restaurant. It's really nice, has a nice view, because you're kind of up on a hill, and the food was spectacular. We had not gone there to have dinner. We went there a few years ago, actually on my birthday, and just had happy hour, and the happy hour food was really, really good. But this is a really a fabulous restaurant. It is a little bit pricey, but the food was spectacular. We had we got hooked on charred octopus since we went to Tulum a few years ago, and this restaurant did not disappoint. This has been the best one that we have had so far here in the city. And ever since, like, I think probably in the late 90s, they had a movie, if y'all have watched it, like Water for Chocolate. And in that movie, they would make a lot of traditional Mexican dishes, and they made a dish of squash blossoms. It was the squash blossom flower. And ever since I watched that movie, I've always wanted to eat that, because it's like, I was like, you can eat that flower. And I've never found restaurants that actually made that dish, but they made the dish here at Signature, and it was on some grilled zucchini. They stuffed the little squash blossom flower with some goat cheese. It was spectacular. So the octopus and that squash blossom was so good, because it was like tempura, batter and fried. And then I had scallops. I always love scallops, and they were excellent. My husband had venison, and then of course we had dessert, and then to boot afterwards, because we were stuffed, honey. You could roll me out like a turkey, roll me down the hill, because we were so full. But it was timed nicely, and in between the appetizer and the meal, they ended up bringing a little bit of sorbet. It was like blood orange passion fruit sorbet to cleanse the palate. Just the attention to detail. It was a late reservation of like 8:15. We didn't get out of there probably like close to 11, because everything was just nicely timed. They had like a little like a tomato type of a gazpacho, but it was served in a spoon, and so that started off the meal. It was just the little details that they did for the meal. So it was just a really nice birthday meal, because my husband and I, we just kind of celebrate the month, right? After the dessert, she ended up bringing me a little chocolate cake to go. Said happy birthday. So she was like, this is for you to take to go since it's your birthday. And then she brought a tray of all these other little desserts, and she was like, you're gonna kill me because I know it's a lot. Y'all just had your dessert, because we had like a passion fruit mango creme brulee, something like that. And I was like, let me take a picture. I was like, and then you can box it up. And so she went and boxed it up and brought it back. But it was just so cute. If you want to splurge and you want to have a nice dinner, if you are going to be traveling into San Antonio, or you live here and you want to have a very, very nice dinner for your birthday, anniversary, or just to splurge, the signature restaurant for La Cantera is excellent. It's just really, 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 really nice. Highly worth the price. Service and everything was wonderful. But when we came home, of course, Hubs always gives me a tons of birthday cards, so I got 4 again this year. But he gave me this really, really cute box, and it says, so I can get it right, love is all we need. And he was like, this way you can keep this at work, because I have like a jar where I keep a lot of like peppermints, because I like to keep peppermints in my purse and at the office. And people were going and grabbing the peppermints from my little, God, what was it, my 15-year, when I did 15 years, I ordered like a little candy jar. So when I was at home, not going into the office because of my wrist being in the cast and all that, people were eating all of the peppermints. And so he's like, this is where you have one, you can keep it on your desk. Nobody will see what's in it, but he filled it with a bunch of Dove chocolate. So he's always, you know, bringing me like little Dove chocolate bags. And so I'll keep some here in the office. I have a little candy dish here on my desk, and then at the office I keep them in my drawer. But now I'm gonna have this one to keep on my drawer, and if people know, they can grab some chocolate candies. But I thought this is really, really cute, so nice and fun. So this was from the Hubs for my birthday, so I gotta pack that, take it to the office next week. But now let's get into the big fun gift, and that comes here in this box. And we went on the Princess Cruise, Regal Princess. The itinerary was down to the Western Caribbean, so we were only gonna go to Roatan, and ended up going to Cozumel. They changed Costa Maya port, so we were 2 days in Roatan, which I need to do a dedicated video just on the experience on that, especially for those of you or that might have people that have a disability, and you have especially if you're like disabled and just mobility issues in general. I do need to do a video on that because of situation, like especially with my husband. But of course, a lot of the cruise lines have the Effy jewelry, so they have, you know, a lot of Effy jewelry there. And of course it's like tax-free and then like duty-free, especially if you like to cruise or you've never cruised before. And it's very tempting because of all the jewelry that they do have. And this is Effy, and Effy makes really, really great jewelry, good quality. And this is the beautiful, beautiful ring that my husband gifted me. It's a beautiful, clean, colored blue topaz with all of the diamonds. And this is in an emerald cut. So here you can see the nice large emerald stone and the diamonds that surround it. And it's in yellow gold. Look at that. It just, like, for me, knocked my socks off. I just thought this was really, really gorgeous. And so when you purchase the jewelry through Effy, they will go ahead and give you like your little certificate with information, because of course you want this for if you are of course insuring your items, as we all should. And it came with the little pouch, so you have the little Effy pouch, and I've got the receipt in here. And then this is a 14 karat yellow gold blue topaz ring with 41 points, 41 karat total weight of round diamonds, and the HI color, I1 clarity. And then this is an 8.80 total weight of blue topaz emerald cut. And it's just, I just love it. Just nice and clean. And the diamonds on here are just beautiful. And it almost has, I almost thought it was like rose gold, but it is yellow gold, but it just has that tone. So I'm just mixing it with my David Yurman blue topaz bracelet. But I love it. It's just, look at that. You can see it from far away. You can see it from far away. It has a presence. And actually right now it fits me, because when I tried it on, of course, I had not fallen. And, or no, maybe I had, but of course I didn't have issues with my hand yet. And so it was loose. So I knew I'm going to have to eventually send this back, because I still can't, I'm still going through occupational therapy. I cannot make a tight fist. So my hand still is I'm having to do my exercises for my fingers and all that. The swelling is not completely down either. So I'm having to wear rings that are large that I would normally wear, like on my index finger. But this is just absolutely gorgeous. What is special about this ring is that many years ago, probably like over 20 years ago, when I still had my grandmother, her birthday was in December, and she loved blue topaz. Of course, blue topaz is the birthstone for the month of December. And I gave her, when she turned 80, I gave my grandmother a really pretty emerald cut blue topaz ring set in gold, and she wore that ring all the time. Like anytime we went out to go to church or wherever, she always had that ring. And so I was just so happy that she, you know, loved this piece of jewelry that I gave her, and she wore it all the time. And unfortunately, she would always tell me, Mijita, when I pass away, you'll get back all of the jewelry that you gave me. And so I said, okay, I go, well, be sure my aunt knows that jewelry is going to come back to me. And when she ended up passing away, unfortunately, my aunt has not been able to find it. She says, I lost a combination to the safe, and she goes, so I don't know if it's in there, or she goes, we had caregivers that would go and take care of my grandmother, and she said, I don't know if maybe even they stole it, or the jewelry that you have on your loved one when they're having the viewing, before they buried her, when they locked up the casket, we didn't realize, or they didn't remember to ask for the jewelry, so they had already locked it up, and my grandmother was already buried, and they were not about to go back and dig and reopen the casket just to get whatever jewelry was on her. So it could be any of those three things. But as of today, I hadn't been able to, she has not, I guess, either found it to give it back to me. So my husband knew that I had been wanting to hopefully get that ring back. It just so happens that when we were on the Regal Princess Cruise, on the very final day, they had like a big sale, and they're like, we're gonna have this extremely like closeout prices. We need to get rid of pieces of jewelry, and it was big discounts for like about an hour. So whatever you could buy within that hour. So I was browsing around through the case when this ring caught my eye, and I was like, oh my God, it's an emerald cut. It looks, you know, it just reminded me of the blue topaz ring that I gave my grandmother. And I had always thought, if I ever get it back, I'll, you know, end up resetting it. So if I were to have ever gotten it back and reset it, I would have most likely reset it in something like this. And I kept looking at it, and I thought, no, I was like, no, I don't need it. I don't need it. I was like, I'll just wait. Maybe hopefully I'll end up getting it back. And so I kind of like took a picture of it, and the man took it out of the case. He tried it on. He had it on his little pinky. And I was like, oh, let me think about it. And I went back and I was telling my husband, and he was like, well, do you like it? And I was like, well, yeah, of course I like it. But I was like, no, I was like, I don't need it. I was like, that's okay. I was like, I don't want to spend the money for it. And so he went back to go and look at it, and he said, no. He goes, that ring is beautiful. He goes, if it reminds you of the ring that you gave your grandmother, he says, he goes, I'm going to get it for you. He goes, so whether you buy it or not, he goes, I'm going to get it. And it just so happens that on that day, it was December 15th, and that was my grandmother's birthday. It never even bothered to occur to me of the date until they gave us this little receipt of the slip, and I'm reading it, and it's dated 12/15, and I was like, oh my God, today's Juanita's birthday. I was like, how ironic, or how planned or coincidental that this ring happened to be taken out for sale on her birthday, and it was exactly what I was like looking for, and it reminded me of the blue topaz ring that I had given her, you know, decades ago. Because I would go in there, because we were on the ship for 8 days, and I would go in there and I would browse through there, because I was looking at the watches, and they would have like little raffles and things, and I looked in all of the display cases, and never in the 7 days prior did this ring ever get taken out. And so it just so happened that on that day, they had taken out a lot of pieces from the vault, and this ring was one of them. And I'm just so thankful. I'm just so happy that I actually have it. It reminds me of my grandmother, and it's just sentimental. And so I'm thankful that my husband gifted me this for my birthday, and it reminds me of my grandmother. It reminds me of our trip, and just a really fun memory, and just coincidental that that's the day that it was her birthday. And that's the day that I ended up falling on the final day of the ship and fracturing my wrist unbeknownst to me, right? I didn't find out until like 3 weeks later that when I ended up in a cast. But it's just gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful. Effy has a presence from far away, as you can see. And it just has the sparkle of the diamonds on the edge. And just that beautiful, clean, just beautiful reflection of the blue topaz, reminding you of even the Caribbean waters, just being out there on the ocean. But just absolutely gorgeous. It's just stunning for me. It's just stunning. Totally in love with it. And it goes well with my blue topaz bracelet. Love it, love it, love it. And just a simple, clean band, but you just have a nice profile here with the diamonds going all the way around. Goes well with my blouse. This is a Camilla blouse. I got this sucker on sale. It has some blues in it. So I waited for this to go on sale, get marked down super cheap, and then I bought it earlier in the year when they were having the winter clearances, and I saved it for my birthday. But it goes nicely with it. So really pretty. So that's today's reveal. This is today's unboxing of this gorgeous, gorgeous ring from Effy. There's a lot of retailers online that do carry Effy, and you can always price it. Even Effy website has it. And I want to even say, I think Sam's carries Effy as well. There's just a lot of retailers. Always just make sure you do your research for any Effy jewelry pieces that you are buying, because they get marked down really, really cheap to like 70%, 80% off. I've seen them like 90% off. So always make sure you do your research for Effy. Know before you go, know before you buy, because this way you get a good price, because jewelry is always overpriced. It's always marked up. So you want to make sure you're getting a really, really good deal on whatever piece of jewelry it is that you are buying from the Effy line. But it's absolutely great quality. Thanks for joining me today on today's video, just to allow me to share these fun items that I received for my birthday. And I hope to catch you guys in the next video. Hasta la próxima. Until next time. Bye-bye.